I'm John.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Matt.
And we're Public, and you're hanging out with us and Rob on Front Row Live.
You guys literally just flew in a couple hours ago.
We flew in and we went over to Beats One for a little bit, and now we are here with you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
In
Now,
flash.
while you guys were out at Beats, did you guys get to meet Erin Monago by any chance?
No.
We were with Brooke Reese.
Yeah. Okay.
She interviewed us, and did we meet anybody?
Noah Cyrus.
Nice.
Yeah, Noah Cyrus was there.
Nice.
That was fun.
That's a good little start for hey, we should collaborate.
She actually was like, should we do a song? We're like, yes. And then she was like, haha. We're like, ha 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 ha. We're going to DM you about that. Yeah.
Did we?
I did, yeah.
We DM'd?
I sent her the picture and I said, let's do this freaking thing.
Nice.
So
Nice. 2020. That's what's going to happen. So congratulations, guys, because you guys, your single is popping off right now, Make You Mine. And, I want to talk more about the creative process behind this song. And I'm kind of curious, is this a song that you guys have had in the vault for some time? Maybe sitting on it for some time and then now feeling like now is the time to release it?
So we actually self-released the first version of this song back in 2015.
Okay.
And we've kind of just been a touring band from Cincinnati, Ohio since then. And then it got just absorbed by TikTok and basically social media culture and the internet. And so we ended up doing a remix with producer Chris Lord-Alge, and that's the version that you hear on the radio right now. Mm. And but yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, we self-released it a long time ago, and it's brought in a whole new wave of fans for us. And we wrote it in his parents' basement. That's kind of where we finished it. I started writing it while I was in a piano keyboard class. So it's we've always loved it, but just now really it's making serious moves for us. Right. So it's weird in a good way.
So when you guys decided to re-release it or recreate it, I guess, how different was it from the original version?
Oh, it's not too different at all, but we have actually done a few different versions of it now. Right. An acoustic version that was really fresh, which we are very excited about. It's got a really more sentimental vibe, and it's pretty mellow. I like it a lot.
Right. Now, you mentioned the song dropped in 2014, 2015.
Right.
So, from that point to now, how do you guys feel your mindset is as far as creating music, especially after releasing Let's Remake It?
I think a lot of our writing process has changed, especially through the years where when we first started out as a band, it was very much going to Ben's basement, jamming together, not really having an idea of what it's going to be, and then kind of building off of it slowly within that scope of practicing. And now we kind of create ideas separately because we're on the road so much. We kind of have less time to get together and have that freedom to kind of explore together. Right. So we could create ideas separately and then show them to the group hey, I've got 10 to 20 different ideas. Do you guys like any of these? Do you want to pair them with what you guys are working on? Right. So it's a little bit more, I think, I wouldn't say scattered, but I think we have so many ideas individually to pull from that it's just a different world of writing now than it was back then.
Right. Do you guys feel now that it's kind of you don't have that time to sit together to write, you kind of mentioned, do you guys feel that kind of has influenced a new way of writing the material?
I think so, yeah. I mean, when I have an idea now, it's I can flesh it out fully on a piano or a guitar, or I can just make an actual demo on my laptop. Right. And I feel I don't know, I feel our writing has just gotten poppier. We just... And it's not even because we're kind of getting put into that field at the moment or have been. It's just that's just we're interested in that. It's that's cool and that's fun. But yeah, I mean the process, especially because Matt and I are just both songwriters in general now. So he'll have a song and it doesn't really sound like a public song until we all do something with it. And it's very similar to what happens for me is I'll have a chorus or a verse or a whole song, and then it really only sounds like a public song when we kind of put it through the process, which is all of us taking ownership of our own parts. I may write a more simplistic bass part, and Matt will kind of do the Matt thing to the bass part. Same with drums. Ben will take the drums. If I program some really simple ones, he'll just completely just explode on them and like make them sound like public drums. So yeah, I mean, songs come from different places now, but at the end of the day, they come through the three of us before they go anywhere else. So.
Right. I was going to add on, we actually had the pleasure of going to Nashville for a couple of days off that we had. And actually recently, super recently, and actually writing together again, just like new ideas. Oh, not really. It was a cover song of a Christmas tune. We were rearranging, but it was like it came so kind of instinctively, and it didn't take a lot of time for us to get back in the groove of actually writing together. Right. Yeah. So it's a point where we can like, you know, settle down a little bit outside of this radio promo stuff and the touring stuff, where we can actually go and write more together that we're like super excited about.
Yeah. Now, how do you guys feel like that artist development was like from early 2014 when you guys kind of first started to form to like now? Like, how did you guys discover like this is who Public is, this is what our sound is like, this is what we're gonna do?
It's so much about our influences. Like each of us are very we're huge music nerds. We love a lot of different music a lot. So like for me, I started to get into when we first started, I was a rock drummer more than anything. It was like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And then I really dug into disco music, like Earth, Wind, and Fire. And that has changed a lot of our sound just because that's what I'm listening to. That's what I'm influenced by. And it shows up in the new music since then, you know.
Yeah. Same for you guys?
I think branding's a big question for all of us, but I think you'd be the best to kind of tune into what our tone is lyrically, like moving forward from when we first started.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, it has been a journey, especially like artistically, but at the same time, we've only ever done what has excited us, you know? So it's like we, as a group, all of our influences coming together, it sounded a little more like an indie pop band, you know, like right from the get-go. And just as we've gone on, like it's like kind of more pop rock. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm interested in pop music. I listen to pop music. I pay attention to pop music because it's such a changing, fluid thing right now. And it's also interesting that we're kind of becoming a part of what that is. And so I think, I mean, this is like, doesn't completely answer your question, but I also just like, we like that we're a band now and we're being put in this space where I think it's pretty much dominated by like singer-songwriters and there's like a lot more hip hop on pop radio now, and like so I think that what we have right now is a little more few and far between as far as like what you might actually hear on top 40. So yeah, I mean it's been a journey, but I think like they said, like our influences have always been a huge thing. So
yeah, I got one more. As far as like branding goes, I think it's still something we're constantly working on and growing. I think pretty recently, as of Sweet Lemonade EP, which we released in 2017, I think it was. We got a new logo, which we're exploring more, like how to deal with like, you know, 3D dimensions, colors, whatever we're feeling kind of represented in those schemes. And I think we're really purposeful about only putting stuff out that we really, really enjoy. So we've only ever done now 2 music videos, one for Make You Mine, one for One That I Want. It's because we don't want to ever kind of half-ass anything. We just want to put everything that we have into the product, or else it doesn't see the light of day.
Right. Yeah. Right. And you know, like because you guys are like more strict about that, like how much trial and error did you guys kind of have to go through before you got to the realization where it's like we just have to really focus on something that we're truly passionate about instead of just it's more about quality over volume. So like how long did it take you guys to realize something like that?
Yeah, like a moment. I think it's been because we've been playing together since high school. It's like we've grown so much, we've learned so much, and so like, and it's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of always been that way for us.
Yeah. And it's interesting that like Make You Mine, like I said, it's not a new song, and like I would even probably argue that like when we wrote that song, like that song felt really special. But I remember the moment when we finished writing that song in his parents' basement, and I was like, oh my God, like that song is beautiful. Like I got chills every time we would do it. And so I think that represented a really pure like spot for us where we were writing wise. And it's like we didn't know anything about the industry, nothing about pop radio. It's just like we write what we think is awesome. And then that is the song that is blowing up for us. Right. So, and not that I think we've compromised really at all, but I think it's just a nice reminder of like, you know, commerce follows art, not the other way around. Really, really pure art will eventually break through stuff. And so like that's why I like that Make You Mine is that song for us right now, because it's like yeah, we've always loved that song, and it's kind of weird,
Right.
but we think it's great though. Like, and I don't hear anything particularly like that on pop radio right now. So
Well, the other cool thing about it is that because it's an old song, I feel like nowadays, like, there's so much new music and there's so many people that blow up instantly, but they don't last in the industry. And I feel like the fact that this was such an old song and it is blowing up now, like, I feel like you guys kind of know how to create timeless music, which I feel is rare today. But, you know, do you guys think about that at all? Like, especially now that, you know, this song is everywhere.
Yeah, I think for sure we definitely we feel like our music it's not just following the trend of whatever the radio sounds like right now. Our influences are like so varied that it does have kind of a timeless thing because we like music history so much. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think like from our standpoint, as far as like writing, producing, like we've always done up until maybe the last few months, everything ourselves. So that includes Make You Mine, all that batch of music from 2014, 15, everything leading up until the Make You Mine remixes. Yeah. And I think like looking back on the catalog of songs we've done that we really, really like, we're like, hey, if this song has a life, then what else from our stuff that we really love, what can come back out? And it's something we're analyzing and looking at too. And it's really exciting to see like a song from that era blow up and you're just like, man, this could happen to like anything. Right. It's also just changed a lot as far as how the industry moves. Like when we started, it was all touring. Like that's what we were told. You need to be on the road. Right. Spotify wasn't even a thing, I think, when we started.
I don't think
now,
social media was really a thing either. I think it was still fresh.
Man. Yeah. But now you look at it and like social media kind of controls like what blows up. And I think it's a super exciting time for us to be in this moment.
Right. Yeah. And I think it too. It's like I think the way the nature of social media and all that stuff, and how everything feels so temporary with like stories. It's like we want stuff right now. And look at it. It's like that is exactly what you were saying though. That is kind of how a lot of artists pop up nowadays. Is they have some big spike, and they haven't really built something where they can sustain. And I mean, maybe they don't want to sustain, but like they have this really awesome moment, and then it kind of goes away because that's all really it is a moment. And so I think that like, ever since we started, we've always wanted to be a band that lasts. Like our favorite bands are bands that have like kind of stood the test of time. Like The Killers, you know, Maroon 5. Like these are
Can't
people.
forget Muse.
Dude, Muse, exactly. No, it's like true, and it's because they haven't really put themselves in a position where they have to rely on just those moments. They have fans that care so much about them, they'll follow them anywhere. So, yeah, I mean, I think as much as we love that Make You Mine is blowing up and all that stuff, like we're so excited about what we've already built as a band since high school, and also like what's kind of coming up. And I also think now we have a team, both with like label and management. Like we have people that are specifically talking about what we're talking about right now, which is like, this is not just a moment. We're actually interested in longevity with you guys. Like we want you guys to just go. So yeah, it's we love the moment, but we love the vision more. So hopefully we get there.
It's cool because I grew up with like the Warped Tour scene. So those bands, it's funny because like those bands like are the ones that did the heavy touring. They did the, you know, I'm gonna find a way to get to the next show type of style of touring. And like now they're the you know, musicians that if those bands are still not around, those musicians are the reason why all these pop hits are happening because they're either the backing band or they're the writers or whatnot. And I feel like and I feel like that's what you guys are. Like you guys are that kind of Warped Tour mindset. No, I feel like you guys came out, you know, you guys have that Warped Tour kind of do it yourself mindset, and it's never gone away. And now, you know, people are starting to pay attention, and it's just gonna blow everybody's mind because it's like, I feel like that mindset is just like the key to success in the music industry.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I hope you're right, man.
I hope so too.
Yeah. No, it's like, I forget who we were talking to. It was like, I think there was like another interview you're doing, but like I was kind of saying like, I feel like we're actually ready for what's happening now. And like we've, you know, it's like, of course, as a band, you feel like there's so many moments where like, we're ready now, man. Like we need all that stuff. And I don't think it's true though. Cause I think, like I said, like we've been grinding for so long. We've learned how to work together. We've learned how to push through issues. We've learned how to just like be creative together for a long time, which is very tough. And so hopefully now that we actually have some firepower behind us and like, you know, the world is kind of starting to notice who we are, hopefully that just means like we can like just go off, seriously take advantage of it and be able to like handle it though too, and not just like lose the moment and disappear. So Yeah.
Now, speaking of the firepower, you guys got connected with Kevin Jonas Sr.
Yeah.
How did that happen for you guys? Is that someone that you guys were particularly trying to reach out to, or did he kind of come across your music and wanted to work with you guys? Like, how did that happen?
We had stalked him for a few years.
John has the connection there. I mean, you can explain it if you want.
No, I'm actually John Jonas. I don't know why they don't ever talk about me, but no, we were working with a guy who was kind of just developing us, and he was like kind of pushing us with our live show, was really cool.
Yeah.
And it was so random. Like you never think to get a connection in like the music industry by someone who's completely not in the music industry. But interestingly enough, my dad was at this conference for something in like DC. And he randomly sat next to this guy who he was just becoming friends with.
Yeah.
And of course, they're talking about their families, their children. He's like, oh, my son's in this band. And this guy was like, I'm really good friends with Kevin Jonas Sr. And he works with some artists right now. And like, I guess my dad was like, well, we need to arrange a meeting. But I remember we were out somewhere playing somewhere. And my dad texted me and was like, I just met this guy who's like really close with Kevin Jonas Sr. And I remember I was like, okay. I don't care. He's not like why would he care about us? Like I don't like that's awesome, but like you know, it's you also just learn not to get your hopes up about anything in this industry. But anyway, when we got back home, I remember like my dad was like, I'm gonna see if I can actually get his email and I mean, long story short though, but we ended up meeting up with him in Carolina and loved what he had to say, and it seemed specifically like he had what we were kind of missing, which was like the marketing mindset, because like we had been road dogs for years, but we didn't really have anybody like out there really like, you know, running for us and like that had relationships too, is like please listen to my band, you know, listen to them, and that actually had an audience for that. And that's what Kevin and his team have brought to the table, and it's been really, really awesome. And I mean, we would not be doing what we're doing right now without like their hard work and their like guidance, and it's good too because we're very particular, and they respect that too, because as we've just discussed, like we've done things ourselves for so long. Yeah. So it's even a new experience having other people kind of like, hey, you guys should try this, and we're like,
Wait a second.
no, he's right. No, we should try that, and it's like you kind of immediately are like, you're not in public. What are you,
right.
You know? Who are you? But no, it's been really good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I'm seriously excited to like hear what's next for 2020. I don't know what you guys have cooking right now, but that's what I need to do. I mean, when are you guys doing LA again?
Well, we'll be on tour with American Authors and Magic Giant, starting in the middle of January, running all the way to the end of February. LA, I'm pretty sure is toward the end. Yeah. Is that right? Toward the end of the tour. Yeah, you're invited.
You're invited. That's all I got.